Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we plunge beyond the headlines to give you the most important nuggets of knowledge, making you genuinely well-informed. Today, we're embarking on quite an exhilarating journey. We're diving into a universe just brimming with pure joy, ingenious design, and, well, a whole galaxy of tiny, charming robots. We're talking about Astrobot. This game didn't just launch. It absolutely soared. It earned what critics everywhere have basically called universal acclaim.
It really did.
I mean, we're talking an unprecedented sweep of Game of the Year wins. The Game Awards 2024, the DICE Awards, the BAFTA's New York Game Awards. The list just goes on.
It's staggering, really. That level of success, it's not just impressive for any title, but especially, for a platformer in today's landscape, which is often dominated by these massive open worlds.
Exactly.
And what's so striking about Astrobot's reception, I think, isn't just the sheer volume of awards, but kind of the dual nature of the praise.
How?
Well, it's been hailed, rightly, as this profound love letter to PlayStation, right? A celebration of its history. But at the same time, it's genuinely forging a new path. It's setting this incredibly high new benchmark for the platforming genre itself.
Okay. So it's not just nostalgia.
Not at all. It's innovation, but built on this real foundation of affection for gaming's past. It's this remarkable fusion, proving a game can, honor its roots and help define the future.
That duality, yeah, that's exactly what makes this deep dive so fascinating. So our mission today, we're going to unpack all those layers. The creativity, the sheer technical ambition, the just infectious joy that clearly went into making Astrobot. We'll dig into the design philosophies, the tough development challenges Team Asobi faced, the triumphs, and ultimately what it all means, for the future of gaming, and maybe especially for this little robot who's captured so many hearts. Get ready, because we're aiming to uncover some genuinely surprising facts, some unexpected turns in its journey, and really build your curiosity about how something this vibrant, this polished, actually came into being.
It's a story that really underscores the dedication needed, doesn't it? To craft something truly exceptional that connects with players on, well, multiple levels.
Okay, so let's rewind a bit. Let's go back to Astro's origins. They were kind of humble, but definitely influential.
Right.
Many of you listening will definitely remember Astro from Astro's Playroom. That delightful, endlessly replayable game that came pre-installed on the PlayStation 5.
Such a great introduction to the console.
It wasn't just a freebie, was it? It was this brilliant, innovative showcase for the DualSense controller. It's, then revolutionary features. We could actually feel things like rain hitting the controller or that crunch of snow under Astro's feet.
Yeah, that was mind-blowing at the time. And before that, of course, there was Astrobot Rescue Mission for PSVR, another really charming, critically acclaimed title.
Right. Both were fantastic. They really proved the character had potential. But with this new standalone Astrobot title, it feels like a massive leap in scope and ambition.
That's precisely it. This Astrobot is technically the 5th game in the series if you count everything. But what's really telling is it's the first one without any subtitle.
Huh. I didn't even clock that.
And Nicholas Doucet, the creative director over at Team Asobi, he made it clear this was very deliberate. It signifies, in his words, a new beginning for the Astrobot series. It's positioning Astro not just as a tech demo mascot anymore, but as a proper flagship character.
So dropping the subtitle, that's a statement.
It absolutely is. It subtly raises the stakes for the character. It signals this grander ambition for Astro's own identity, his future within the whole PlayStation family. It suggests, real confidence that he can carry a whole game, maybe even a franchise, just on his own merits.
A new beginning definitely implies a heavier lift, you're right. And the development, the gauntlet for Astrobot sounds like it was pretty intense.
Oh, yeah.
This wasn't just some quick project.
Yeah.
We're talking about, what, a 3-year development cycle?
3 years, yeah. With a dedicated team of around 60 people at Team Asobi.
60 people for 3 years.
Yeah.
That's significant.
It is. And it actually makes it their largest game developed to date, which is a big deal for a studio that historically focused on more, let's say, contained experiences.
Right. So that kind of investment time, talent, and resources, it really raises the stakes for its success, doesn't it? Every decision must have felt crucial.
Absolutely. And that scale for Team Asobi really highlights the ambition driving this whole thing. One particularly fascinating point from their development journey was a really critical design choice they made early on.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Doucet revealed they actually considered making Astrobot an open-world game during pre-production.
Whoa, really? An open-world Astro? That's That's something to imagine.
Isn't it? Especially with current trends, it feels like the default for big titles sometimes.
So why didn't they? I mean, what led them to consider it? And then what made them ultimately stick with the more sort of classic level-based structure?
Well, they consciously decided against it. And this really highlights a core tension in game design today, doesn't it? That balance between, like, meticulously crafted experiences versus just sheer player freedom.
Okay.
Their reason for sticking with levels was essentially to maintain control over the game's variety.
Control over variety.
It's a philosophy, really. Valuing curated moments over potentially diluted exploration. Doucet and the team understood that open worlds, while offering scale, can sometimes struggle to keep things consistently fresh and innovative everywhere.
Yeah, you can get lost, or things can feel samey after a while.
Exactly. So by choosing distinct linear levels, they could guarantee that each stage brought something new mechanics, unique visuals, constant surprises. It prevented repetition, kept the player engaged.
So quality over quantity, in a way.
Precisely. It let them focus tightly on crafting innovative mechanics and strong visual identities for each world. Sometimes, maybe less perceived freedom leads to a richer experience overall. It certainly seems to have worked here.
It really does seem like it paid off, given how often people praise the game's constant inventiveness.
Yeah.
And speaking of deliberate design, they also focused heavily on accessibility, didn't they? Which is another tricky balancing act.
Huge emphasis on it, yeah.
How do you make a game that works for, someone picking up a controller for the first time and for hardcore platforming fans looking for a serious challenge without making either group feel like it's not for them?
That was a key question for them. How do you broaden the appeal without gutting the depth? And their solution was, well, pretty elegant, actually.
Okay.
They designed the main levels, the core path through the game, to be relatively easy. The goal was to ensure that basically anyone, regardless of experience, could see the story through, beat the game, feel that sense of accomplishment.
Welcoming new players.
Exactly. But for those players who crave that challenge, who really want to test their skills, the optional levels scattered throughout the game offer much more difficult challenges.
So the hard stuff is there, but it's optional.
Precisely. This dual difficulty approach, it really builds curiosity about how they manage that balance so well. Both casual players and, the hardcore completionists feel catered to. Everyone can engage at their own pace. It's smart.
That is clever. Very inclusive without dumbing anything down.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. From the structure to the sound. We absolutely have to talk about the soundtrack. It's unforgettable.
Oh, definitely. Kenny C.M. Young.
The composer. Now, he's worked on things like Little Big Planet, Tearaway, and the previous Astro games too, right?
That's him. A real veteran with a distinct style.
But what was really unique about his process for this Astrobot, something that set it apart from how most game composers work.
Well, this is quite interesting. Kenny was actually given a full PlayStation 5 development kit and access to game builds throughout the process.
Like he could actually play the game as it was being made.
Exactly. Which he said is not standard practice at all for a composer. Usually you get concept art, videos, maybe some descriptions.
Right, kind of working at arm's length.
Yeah. But Kenny said having that hands-on access was really important for him. It allowed him to truly feel it, especially for levels where the musical direction wasn't immediately obvious. He could immerse himself in the gameplay, the rhythm, the feel of Astro's movements.
Wow. That must have allowed for a much deeper connection between the music and the gameplay.
Undoubtedly. A much more organic integration. The score doesn't just accompany the action, it feels completely intertwined with it. It makes you wonder just how much more nuanced it became because he could literally play along as he composed.
I can imagine. But, with that kind of access and following up the Astro's Playroom soundtrack, particularly that song.
Ah, yes.
The GPU song.
The GPU song. It was huge, right? It went down so well with players. And Team Asobi apparently explicitly told Kenny they wanted another one of those for Astrobot.
That sounds terrifying. For an artist, being asked to just replicate a viral hit like that, talk about raising the stakes.
It was, in Kenny's own words, terrifying. He specifically talked about the pressure for the puppetry level. His first thought was genuinely, there's nothing to write about.
Really?
Yeah. He joked about falling back on old biology lessons, maybe singing about xylem and phloem, just to find something.
That's hilarious. But it shows the pressure.
It really illustrates that creative tension, the weight of expectation. But then Nico Doucet, the game director, apparently had a very clear vision. He just said, no, I want a song.
Firm but simple.
Exactly. And that directive, that push, ultimately got Kenny to dig deeper, to find that spark where he initially saw nothing. It shows how that kind of, collaborative push and pull, even when it's tense, can lead to breakthroughs.
And breakthroughs were definitely needed, especially for those 5 incredible levels themed around classic PlayStation characters.
Oh yeah, the homage levels.
Yeah.
Ape Escape, God of War, Uncharted, Locoroco, Horizon.
Composing for those must have been a whole different beast. Kenny described it as a jigsaw puzzle, but one where you kind of have to force the pieces together in new ways.
He said it required a lot more experimental writing. The God of War level in particular he called nerve-wracking.
I can imagine. Taking something so epic and frankly adult-like God of War and fitting it into the family-friendly Astrobot vibe.
Oh.
That's tricky.
Extremely tricky. He first tried what he called a weird mashup, something like Astrobot beach music mashed up with a God of War theme.
Oh dear, how did that go?
Predictably, he said it wasn't going to work. The tones just clashed completely.
Yeah, I can't quite picture that.
So it forced a total rethink, a new approach that had to respect the original's gravitas, its iconic motifs, but still feel right for Astro's world. He used that jigsaw analogy, taking the original puzzle, appreciating it, then tearing it up and pushing bits against each other that aren't quite designed to do it until something new and yet familiar emerges.
That's a fantastic description of creative adaptation. It really makes you curious about the process, how he picked which bits to keep, how he recontextualized them.
And he was deeply aware, he said, that he was cutting up effectively someone else's baby, their creation. He stressed doing it with love and respect.
And it seems like he pulled it off. The original composers reacted well.
Overwhelmingly positively, apparently. People like Julie Elvin from Horizon, Jorge Damon also from Horizon, they loved his interpretations. Which is a huge validation, right? It really speaks to how carefully and respectfully he handled those beloved IPs.
That's fantastic. And when you think about the sheer emotional investment required for all this.
It really raises the stakes for the soundtrack, doesn't it? Kenny spent 2 years, full on, just immersed in this, writing music day after day.
2 years. Wow.
He described the feeling after the game launched and got this amazing reception as just massive relief, but also, pretty tense beforehand, knowing he'd poured his blood, sweat, and tears into something so personal.
That human element. It adds another layer to the game's success. It makes you appreciate the score even more.
Absolutely. It's not just background music. It's the result of immense personal effort and vulnerability.
Incredible. And that level of commitment, that detail, it's reflected everywhere, isn't it? Yeah. Especially in the other huge defining feature, the VIP bots, the cameos.
Oh, the cameos. Where do you even start?
The numbers are just staggering. At launch, it was over 150 unique VIP bots hidden in the game.
Which was already impressive.
But then it grew. Players found 195 hidden characters, and eventually the base game hit 301 bots plus 22 more in DLC, plus 4 from Playroom, for a grand total of, 327 bots you can rescue?
327. It's not just a few Easter eggs. It's like a living museum of PlayStation history, a pantheon of pixels.
And the range is incredible. You've got the obvious first-party icons, Kratos, Aloy, Nathan Drake.
But then it goes so much further. Huge third-party characters, too. Lara Croft, Leon S. Kennedy, Cloud Strife, Sephiroth.
Ryu, Crash Bandicoot, even Pyramid Head.
Even Pyramid Head. And Master Onion from Parappa. It spans generations, genres, levels of fame. It just sparks immense curiosity, doesn't it? How did they even manage to get the rights for all these characters from so many different companies and then integrate them so perfectly?
It's a logistical feat, for sure, but it feels like more than just fan service, right? There was a deeper idea behind it.
There really was. Nicolas Doucet spoke about this. He had this really insightful philosophy. He saw Astrobot as serving as a generational bridge.
A generational bridge. Explain that.
Well, think about it. Gaming can sometimes exist in these generational bubbles, right? Parents have fond memories of games their kids have never heard of.
Sure.
By filling Astro's world with these characters, Doucet saw it as a way to spark interaction. A kid sees a bot, asks their parent, "Who's that?" And suddenly, they're sharing a gaming experience, talking about gaming history.
Ah, that's brilliant. So the cameos become conversation starters.
Exactly. It educates new players, lets parents relive some nostalgia, and builds connections. It gives the cameos a much deeper meaning than just, oh, look, it's Kratos. It raises their significance. It's about passing on a legacy, sharing that passion.
That's genuinely heartwarming and really thoughtful design. But it must have created some creative tension, too.
How so?
Well, balancing Astro's humor, you can punch the bots, they have funny reactions, with being genuinely respectful to the legacy of these characters. Some of them are pretty serious figures.
That's a very good point. It's a delicate tightrope walk. Reverence versus playful interaction.
Yeah.
How do you turn, say, Kratos into a cute bot without it feeling wrong?
Exactly. How do they handle that transformation?
Through very specific, clever design rules. For characters with prominent hair, like Cloud or Lara, they often replaced it with vinyl, giving them that Astro-like plastic look while keeping the silhouette recognizable.
Okay, makes sense.
They used blue LED eyes consistently across most bots to unify the style. And for characters where eyes were crucial or who had really unique head shapes, like your pyramid head example, they used full head masks.
Masks. That's smart. It preserves the original look without messing with Astro's basic form.
Precisely. It keeps the homage clear while fitting the game's aesthetic. And crucially, the response from everyone, PlayStation studios like Santa Monica and Naughty Dog and all the third-party publishers, was overwhelmingly positive.
So they got everyone they wanted.
Pretty much all 150 initial characters they aimed for made it in, which just shows the goodwill and the respect Team Asobi clearly demonstrated in handling these beloved IPs. It really underlines the stakes when dealing with other people's creative legacies.
That collaborative spirit is amazing. Okay, let's move to the technical side, because this game is an absolute marvel in that department too. And right at the heart of it, woven into its very fabric, is the DualSense controller.
Absolutely central, even more so than in Playroom.
They really pushed it further here.
Oh, definitely. They actually had a dedicated small group within Team Asobi working solely on maximizing the controller's features. It wasn't an add-on, it was fundamental to the design from day one.
Wow, so what kind of things are we talking about?
You feel everything. The haptic feedback is incredibly detailed. Footsteps change subtly depending on the surface, grass, metal, water. You feel the individual pitter-patter of rain on Astro's umbrella. Every bump, every interaction gives precise feedback.
And the triggers.
Masterfully used. Like when Astro squeezes a sponge full of water, the triggers resist your pull, and that resistance changes as the water drains out. You get this tangible sense of force. It's incredibly immersive.
It's not just rumble anymore, is it? It's actual texture and tension.
Exactly. It blurs that line between hardware and software.
And it wasn't just haptics and triggers, was it? They use other features too.
Oh, yeah. The gyro controls are essential for flying the dual speeder, Astro's little ship. You tilt the controller to steer really intuitive.
And for aiming things.
Yep, gyro aiming for gadgets too. Feels very natural. And then there's the microphone.
The mic? What for?
You actually blow into it at certain points. To spin a fan or inflate something. It's charming and unexpected.
That's brilliant.
This constant inventive use of every part of the DualSense, it really makes you curious about what else is possible with this controller. It just elevates the connection you feel to Astro's world.
And underpinning all this fantastic immersion is the technical performance, which everyone agrees is, well, almost perfect.
Virtually flawless is the term you hear a lot. And the specs back it up. It runs at a rock-solid 60 frames per second. Absolutely crucial for a platformer needing precision.
No compromises there.
None. And it uses dynamic resolution scaling, seamlessly shifting between 1440p and up to 4K 2160p on the fly. So you always get smoothness and visual clarity. It's incredibly polished optimization.
To the point where people struggle to find any issues.
Almost. There's this slightly legendary anecdote from one reviewer who meticulously looked for problems and noted they observed exactly one moment, just one, of a tiny, barely noticeable frame rate dip in their entire playthrough.
One moment in the whole game.
Just one. It kind of became a running joke, reinforcing how exceptionally stable and polished the game is, that near perfection is remarkable.
It really is. And it's not just the frame rate, right? The world itself feels so interactive. The physics.
Oh, the physics are wonderful. Interactivity is everywhere. Leaves scatter when you run through them, apples tumble realistically, snow, and even ice cream deforms satisfyingly as Astro moves through them. It makes the world feel tangible.
And fluids, too. Water, slime.
Yep, dynamic fluid simulation. It affects puzzles, movement, like water pooling and flowing correctly through roof tiles in one level. It all adds to the realism and interactivity.
It makes you wonder about the engine powering it all.
It seems incredibly capable. They even have moments with, like, glorious displays of destruction, Astro in his big sponge form smashing through things. And apparently the engine can handle 100 bots on screen at once in some sections without breaking a sweat.
100 bots, wow.
Yeah, no performance drops. It's technically very impressive, adding to that vibrant, bustling feel.
It sounds like that 5-star service analogy someone used is pretty accurate. Just meticulous attention to every detail.
It really captures it. The lavish care, the polish and everything from the controls to the transitions. It's why Astrobot isn't just acclaimed, but why it's genuinely compared to Nintendo's absolute best, like Super Mario Galaxy. Team Asobi proved they belong in that top tier.
Okay, so we've got the origins, the sound, the cameos, the tech. But what about the actual quest? Astro's story. It starts pretty dramatically, raising the stakes right away.
It really does. It kicks off with the sudden attack by space bully Nebulax, this big green alien menace.
Right, he attacks the mothership.
Viciously. Rips out the PS5 mothership CPU, its core, and scatters Astro's crew, all his little robot buddies, across the galaxy. Astro himself crash lands alone on a desert planet.
Stranded.
Exactly. So his mission is immediate, urgent, and personal. Rebuild the ship, find his friends. It instantly creates peril, raises the emotional stakes, and gives you, the player, a really strong motivation to get going.
And the story builds to a pretty intense climax, doesn't it? It's not just beat the bad guy.
Not at all. It gets surprisingly emotional for such a cheerful game. After Astro tracks down all the ship parts, getting the memory from Mighty Chewie the gorilla, the GPU from Lady Venomar the snake, and so on, he and his reunited crew, the Play Squadron, finally confront Nebulax.
The big showdown.
And in this key moment, this act of real heroism, Astro has to make an impossible choice. To save his crew, he deliberately lets go during the fight and falls straight into a black hole.
Whoa, seriously?
Seriously. And the black hole then explodes into a supernova. It's presented as a genuine sacrifice. High tension, real emotion. The game makes you think he might actually be gone.
Wow, that's unexpected. But surely he comes back.
Thankfully, yes. But the game plays with you. The crew mourns, sad credits start to roll. You feel that loss.
Oh, man.
But then, the screen flickers back on. You see a broken Astro falling back onto the mothership. Battered, but maybe fixable.
Yeah.
And his crew immediately gets to work, finding parts, rebuilding him piece by piece. It leads to this wonderful, triumphant ending where he's revived, surrounded by his friends. It's a really effective arc. Despair to relief. Themes of friendship, sacrifice, rebirth. Surprisingly deep for a platformer.
That sounds really well done. Now, talking about challenges, the main game is full of memorable bosses guarding those ship parts. Mighty Chewie, Wacko Taco, Lady Venomara.
Mecha Leon, Falcon McFly, yeah, a great rogues gallery.
And some of those fights really got the community talking, didn't they? People sharing strategies online.
Definitely. They're not just tests of reflexes, they're often like little puzzles using Astro's abilities. Take Lady Venomara, the snake boss. She was tricky for some. Her patterns, especially the purple rolling eggs she throws while you're trying to rocket jump up her body. People on places like Reddit were specifically asking for tips on dodging those eggs.
And did they get help?
Yeah. One helpful player pointed out, if you don't do a full charge of the rocket and just attack, you not only land faster, but it will recharge to full a bit faster. Basically, short hops were key for that section.
Ah, clever.
It shows how these bosses fostered real strategic thinking and community interaction. People were genuinely curious about how others beat them, sharing those little tricks.
Beyond the main story and bosses, though, there's the ultimate challenge for the real diehards. The Great Master Challenge. That sounds intimidating.
It lives up to the name. It's described as overly difficult, a true final test of skill and patience.
And you can only unlock it after doing basically everything else.
Pretty much. You need every puzzle piece and 300 bots collected throughout the entire game. So the stakes are super high for completionists. It's the final mountain to climb.
What do you get for actually beating it? Assuming it's possible.
It is possible, and the rewards are pretty cool, very exclusive. You get a VIP bot of Chop Chop Master Onion from Parappa,
Nice.
a low polygon throwback outfit for Astro, mimicking old PS1 models, and a PS1 controller-themed skin for the dual speeder.
Retro rewards for the ultimate challenge. That's fitting.
Exactly. A really strong incentive for dedicated players, adding serious longevity and a proper grand prize for mastering everything.
And even if you don't tackle that, there's still plenty more to do after the main story finishes, right?
Oh, tons. The game is packed with post-game content. You can hunt down all 10 secret Warpole levels in the Lost Galaxy, plus a bonus one unlocks after you find those.
More levels.
Yep, often trickier ones. Plus, completing all the jigsaw puzzle collections, emptying out the gacha machine by spending coins to get costumes and skins, finding hidden photo cutouts for friend snaps.
So it just end.
Not at all. It encourages you to keep exploring, keep collecting, keep mastering. It's a really complete package.
Okay, now, this is where it gets really interesting, maybe even a bit provocative. After all this success, all this acclaim, where does Astro go next? Nicholas Doucet hinted at something surprising, didn't he? Raising the stakes for Astro's whole identity.
Yeah, this is a fascinating question. Can Astro truly stand on his own feet now, as an independent icon? Or is his charm forever tied to celebrating PlayStation history?
What did Doucet say?
He made some really intriguing comments suggesting future Astro games might actually move away from a focus on PlayStation history.
Really? No more cameos?
Potentially. He suggested focusing entirely on Astro himself. He talked about the flexibility of Astro as its own IP, its own brand, and said an open story means anything is possible for Astro's future.
Wow. That invites a big conversation. Would an Astro game without the PlayStation history element still feel like Astro? Could he carry it with original characters, original worlds?
That's the core dilemma, isn't it? What do people value most? The celebration or the character and the gameplay itself? It makes you, the listener, really think about what you want from Astro's future.
It's a big question. And speaking of his iconic status, we even got that Astrobot limited edition DualSense controller, like a physical symbol of how important he's become.
It's a perfect example, yeah. It embodies the game's joy. You've got his eyes on the touchpad, the blue and white colors, those subtle geometric robot lines, even his head embossed on the back.
It really connects the hardware and software.
Absolutely. It channels the pure joy, the innovation, the essence of Astrobot right into your hands. It underscores how vital the DualSense is to the experience and how Astro himself is becoming synonymous with that joyful PlayStation feeling. It's a collectible piece of history now.
What an incredible journey we've covered today. From those tech demo origins to this universally acclaimed Game of the Year sweeping phenomenon, Astrobot really showed us this amazing blend of creativity, tech brilliance, engaging story, and just tons of content. And it's not just critical praise, it's a commercial hit too. Over 2.3 million copies sold as of March 2025. It's undeniably left a huge mark, proving that innovation and polish really do matter.
And beyond all that, it's a powerful reminder of the human side of making games, isn't it? The dedication, the creative struggles, the vulnerability of handling beloved characters, and then that sheer relief when it connects with people after years of intense work.
Yeah.
That love and respect, it shines through in every detail, from the music to every single one of those cameos. You can feel it when you play.
So, whether Astro keeps guiding us through PlayStation's past or charts his own new course into original adventures, one thing feels absolutely certain now. Astrobot proved this little robot has the heart, the charm, and the pure platforming skill to be a true gaming icon.
He really does.
The question now maybe for you listening is, what incredible new horizons will Astro inspire you to explore next? In gaming, or maybe even beyond? We'd love to hear your own aha moments from playing Astrobot, or what stood out most from this deep dive. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.